Imagine a nation in chaos, longing for a king. That's where 1 Samuel begins, a turning point in Israel's story. After the era of judges and Ruth's quiet faithfulness, 1 Samuel marks the shift from tribal confederacy to monarchy. Here we meet Samuel, Saul and David, three figures who shape Israel's destiny. We'll use the King James Version, whose language captures the gravity of these events. Today we'll uncover 10 fascinating, often overlooked facts about 1 Samuel, stories that reveal the dance between human will and divine purpose. Ready to dive in? Like, subscribe, and let's begin. Our story opens with Hannah, a woman in anguish, praying for a child at the tabernacle in Shiloh. She vows, if God gives her a son, she'll dedicate him to the Lord for life, a Nazirite, set apart. Eli, the high priest, blesses her, and God answers. Samuel is born, his name meaning heard by God. True to her word, Hannah brings Samuel to serve at the tabernacle, offering a prayer of praise. Samuel grows up under Eli's care, destined to become the last judge and the first great prophet of Israel's monarchy. He bridges two eras, the age of judges and the dawn of kings. Samuel's life is a testament to the power of prayer and God's mysterious timing. His story marks the end of one kind of leadership and the beginning of another. In a time when the word of the Lord was precious, Samuel would become the voice Israel needed. He is the fulcrum on which Israel's destiny turns. While Samuel serves, corruption festers in the priesthood. Eli's sons Hophni and Phinehas abuse their sacred roles. They exploit worshippers and defile the tabernacle, prompting God's judgment. Eli's lineage will be cut off. War erupts with the Philistines. Israel, desperate, brings the Ark of the Covenant to battle, treating it as a lucky charm. The result is disaster. The Ark is captured, Hophni and Phinehas are killed, and Eli dies upon hearing the news. The glory departs from Israel. The Ark, symbol of God's presence, is gone. This catastrophe exposes the nation's spiritual decay. The loss of the Ark is not just military defeat, it's a crisis of faith. Samuel's rise comes as the old order collapses. The fall of Eli's house clears the way for new leadership. Israel's future now hangs on the faithfulness of a single prophet. The nation stands at a crossroads, humbled and desperate for renewal. The stage is set for transformation. Israel, weary of corrupt judges, demands a king to be like all the nations. Samuel is grieved, but God tells him, "They have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me." The people want visible power, not God's invisible rule. God instructs Samuel to warn them. A king will take their sons, daughters, land, and freedom. The cost of monarchy is servitude, not security. Despite the warning, the people insist, "Nay, but we will have a king over us." They choose conformity over covenant, trading God's leadership for human authority. Samuel dismisses them, heavy-hearted. The request for a king marks a spiritual turning point. Israel's desire for a king is both a rejection and a test. God will grant their wish, but with consequences. The monarchy begins, not in triumph, but in warning. The search for a king is underway. Saul, tall and impressive, is chosen as Israel's first king, seemingly the perfect leader. Anointed by Samuel, Saul is transformed by God's Spirit and wins early victories, but cracks appear. Saul's impatience leads him to offer sacrifices unlawfully. Defying God's command, Samuel rebukes him. To obey is better than sacrifice. Saul's second failure comes when he spares King Agag and the best livestock, disobeying God's order for total destruction. Excuses can't hide his disobedience. God rejects Saul as king. His spirit departs. Saul's reign, once full of promise, unravels in fear and pride. The kingdom will not pass to his descendants. Saul's story is a warning. Outward greatness cannot replace a heart of obedience. The search for a new king begins. Saul's tragic arc sets the stage for David. Saul's rejection brings a chilling shift. The Spirit of the Lord departs, and an evil spirit from the Lord torments him. God's empowering presence is gone, replaced by darkness and inner turmoil. The evil spirit is not temptation, but affliction, paranoia, rage, and despair. Saul's court seeks relief through music, and David, a young harpist, is brought in. David's music soothes Saul, but the contrast is stark. As God's Spirit leaves Saul, it fills David. Saul's torment is a direct result of his disobedience. The narrative warns rejecting God's will leaves us vulnerable to spiritual darkness. Saul's decline is mirrored by David's rise. The Spirit's transfer marks a new era. Saul's story becomes a cautionary tale of lost favor. David's anointing is imminent. God sends Samuel to Bethlehem to anoint a new king from Jesse's sons. Samuel is drawn to the eldest, but God corrects him. The Lord looketh on the heart. One by one, Jesse's sons are rejected until David, the youngest shepherd, is called. Overlooked by his family, David is chosen by God. Samuel anoints him, and the Spirit of the Lord comes upon David. God's choice defies human expectations. He elevates the humble. David's time as a shepherd prepared him for kingship. This moment redefines leadership character over appearance. David's anointing signals a new kind of king. God's plans unfold in surprising ways. The Philistines challenge Israel, sending out Goliath, a giant who terrifies Saul's army. For 40 days, Goliath mocks Israel and God, demanding a champion. Young David, delivering supplies, is outraged by Goliath's defiance. While others see an unbeatable foe, David sees an enemy of God. He volunteers to fight armed only with faith, a sling and 5 stones. Rejecting Saul's armor, David faces Goliath as a shepherd, not a soldier. Goliath scoffs, but David declares, "I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts." With a single stone, David strikes Goliath down and claims victory. The underdog triumphs and David's fame spreads. This story is more than a battle. It's faith overcoming fear. David's courage inspires a nation. The shepherd boy becomes a hero. After David's victory, Jonathan, Saul's son, forms a deep bond with him. Their souls are knit together, a friendship marked by loyalty and covenant. Jonathan gives David his royal robe and weapons, symbolizing his support. Despite Saul's growing hatred, Jonathan protects David, risking his own future. Their friendship endures betrayal, danger, and separation. Jonathan's love for David surpasses ambition and family ties. David mourns Jonathan's death with a lament. "Thy love to me was wonderful, passing the love of women." Their story is a timeless portrait of true, selfless friendship. David's rise sparks Saul's jealousy, turning admiration into obsession. Saul repeatedly tries to kill David, who becomes a fugitive, gathering outcasts as followers. Twice, David has the chance to kill Saul, but spares him, refusing to harm the Lord's anointed. David's mercy contrasts Saul's hatred, revealing his trust in God's justice. These acts define David's character, a man after God's own heart. Saul's relentless pursuit only deepens David's faith. David's psalms of lament and trust are born in these trials. Mercy, not vengeance, shapes David's path to the throne. Saul's downfall accelerates as David's reputation grows. The future king is forged in adversity. Facing defeat, Saul is abandoned by God. No dreams, no prophets, no answers. In desperation, he seeks out the witch of Endor, violating his own laws and God's commands. Disguised, Saul asks her to summon Samuel's spirit. The apparition delivers only judgment. Saul's kingdom is lost, and he will die in battle. There is no comfort, only doom. Saul collapses in terror, utterly alone. This forbidden act marks the tragic end of his reign. Saul, once chosen by God, now seeks answers from the dead. His story ends in darkness and defeat. The monarchy's first chapter closes in tragedy. David's rise is now inevitable. First, Samuel closes with the fall of Saul and the rise of David. We've witnessed the shift from chaos to kingship, from failed leadership to hope. The book is a study in obedience, faith, and the consequences of rejecting God. It sets the stage for Israel's greatest king and the lineage of Christ. 1 Samuel's lessons on leadership, friendship, and faith remain timeless. What surprised you most? Share your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for more biblical explorations.